Shit. Oh, bless me. Well, that was unexpected.
The beauty of live radio.
That was horrible timing. I don't even know
what's everybody.
I don't even know it's been around me to be allergic to, but what's going on, folks? How are we doing?
It's a Wednesday. It is a Wednesday. We're 1 week from free agency in the NFL.
Yes, we are.
Eyeball deep into spring training. The end of the regular season in hockey and the NBA is right around the corner. We're just getting things started in NASCAR. Outside of that, there ain't nothing going on, man. And we're 5 weeks away from WrestleMania.
Well, apparently
there ain't shit going on.
Apparently, your end of show co-host got some medicine today for his cough.
Hey, I told him Josh. My wife had that dry cough after she got over her cold/flu for like 6 weeks.
That's crazy. So, Rich, what happened? What happened on this? What happened on this day in 1991 for the Pittsburgh Penguins?
This day, 1991. Oh, they traded for Ronnie Francis.
And who else? Who else was part of that trade?
Wolfie.
Wolf, correct. And
let's see. Reggett came from Philly.
Another defenseman.
Reggett came from Philly. Zubov came from the Islanders. Another defenseman. We didn't get both Samuelsons, did we?
No, not that time. No.
Not at that time. Oh, no, Shell came from Philly. Shell came in the Reggett deal.
Grant Jennings.
Okay.
Looking back on it, the Penguins didn't really give up too much. John Collin, Jeff Parker, and I mean, I like Zarley, but the guys we got in return were a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, we only got a Hall of Famer and a borderline Hall of Famer out of it. Not that big of a deal. Alfie was one of my dad's favorites.
I loved Alfie. Back when you could play hockey.
He was a huge Francis guy. I was a big Yager guy, but he was a huge Francis fan.
Your dad?
Yeah. Zubov used to drive my dad nuts. He'd sit there literally screaming at the TV, "Shoot the puck!"
Yeah, we still scream that to this day, Rich. So nothing's changed.
Yeah, but I mean, some of those guys, they got it and they shot it. But Zuby, for whatever, he wanted to hang on to that thing for half an hour and wouldn't even flip it in or anything like that. I agreed, but it drove my dad just absolutely freaking crazy.
Right.
But hard to believe that's 34 years ago.
Right. Penguins looking to be cleaning ship a little bit.
Yeah, there's nothing going on this year.
Looks
the
like
only two guys ain't going
looks
anywhere.
Looks like Luke Schen's coming. Looks like we're getting a young buck and Luke Schenn for who did they just wasn't Raquel. I like the guy. I just forget.
I'm trying to remember because I saw the thing on Facebook. Believe it or not, it was on Facebook.
Facebook
trade. Huh?
Oh, Michael Bunting.
Yeah.
So we're getting Luke Schenn and Tommy Novak
Right.
for Michael Benting and a fourth we gave up. I don't know why we're giving up draft picks when we're giving away players, but whatever.
Yeah.
I like Bunting. I thought he was a good player.
It was okay. It was okay. But yeah, I mean, when you look at what is going on in the NHL right now, the Penguins are cooked. They're just riding out the string. But I tell you what, though, the team about 100 miles up north of me, people better watch out for them guys.
100 miles. St. Louis?
No, the Stars.
Oh.
Dallas Stars.
I don't think I have any of them. I don't think I have any of them on my fantasy team right now.
Man, I tell you what, I did one, and I'll be dead set honest, I haven't really paid a whole heck of a lot of attention to it.
Really?
Yeah, I've never really been a big fantasy hockey guy. I got into it because someone's asked me to, and I check it like once a week, and that's it. I don't do anything like what I'm doing with baseball
You
or
think
with
if you were
football.
like in the playoff hunt, I mean, you're still in the playoff hunt, you're still alive?
I'm in the middle of the pack. I'm 6th out of 10.
What's
Top
the
6
play?
make the playoffs.
Well, I mean, you should start at least like paying attention a little bit. Maybe
Well,
get some late waiver wires out there, Rich. So he was getting hot right
well,
now.
maybe so. I'm just it seems like I'm just kind of running the string on this deal. I don't really have how most teams have a stud. I don't really have a stud on this team. I got a bunch of guys that are pretty good. I mean, my biggest scorer is Pasternak, um, which I guess you could consider a stud. I don't know. But I mean, I'm doing pretty decent from that standpoint. My goaltending is not good. I had Jari. Um, I had Ottinger and traded him. Ottinger from the Stars. Traded him.
Why?
So I mean, huh?
Why?
I'm trying to remember who I got for him. I thought it was going to turn out to be a really good deal, and it ended up biting me in the butt. I'm trying to look at my team here. My starting goalie is Darcy Kemper out of L.A., which nothing to write home about. I ended up getting. Now that I'm looking at my team, I got Jack Hughes for him.
That's not a bad pickup. Been quiet lately though.
Yeah, I mean, he's played well this season, but the guy originally offered me Crosby, and it was at that one stretch there where Crosby couldn't have hit the net if nobody was in front of it.
You didn't take it?
No. And then he offered me Hughes, and I was like, well, Hughes was playing really well at that point in time.
I would have taken
I said, all right.
I'm a homer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, as a homer, I wanted to take him, but just didn't work out right. My team is just all over the place. I got Matt Duchene from Dallas. I got Dylan Larkin from the Red Wings. Yeah, man, I've got a few guys, but to say I have a loaded team or something like that, nah.
Is it
If
Yahoo
if by
or
some
ESPN?
ESPN, if by some chance
Well, I mean,
I
at
make the
least on
playoffs,
ESPN this year, they let you set the lineup for the week.
right?
So you don't have to like
But
really pay attention, but you should.
if by some chance I make the playoffs, my money's on I'm getting stroked in the first round. I mean, but it didn't cost anything to do it. It's just a bunch of us that did the league. It didn't cost me anything to get into it. If
Oh,
I'm paying
nice.
for it, I'm paying attention to it.
Right. Yeah, I'm in
You
second.
know,
I'm in second. I'm in second place right now.
Very good. Very good.
But I mean, I don't have
Um,
I have the Washington goalie. I have Jack
gotcha.
Eichel.
Okay.
I have Austin Matthews.
Hmm.
But I sucked last year and ended up with the third pick, which I got Austin Matthews.
Well,
That's okay. It seems to be maybe working out in my favor right now.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, 52 points so far. So,
Is it head to head or
yeah, it's head to head category.
Anyway, Rich, let's get back to well, I mean, fantasy is our real life because that's the only time we get to act like a coach or GM. And it matters because we control what goes on there.
True.
Are you ready for the big baseball draft?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm still waiting for our commissioner to decide, are we doing category or points?
I hope we do category. I hate points.
Yeah, I hate points too. I would rather go category. I played in a league 3 or 4 years ago.
I think they call that
Probably 4
rotisserie,
years
right?
ago. What, points?
Yeah.
More or less. But we played category with 16 categories instead of the standard
Jesus.
10. We had 16.
How'd
You
that work?
normally, like, offensively, you'll have batting average, home runs, RBI, stolen bases, and then something else, right? Usually batting average. Well, we added walks,
Defense.
and we added OBP, and then there was something, or no, it wasn't OBP, it was slugging that we added, and then there was something else that he added. I think it was doubles or something like that. But we had 16 categories each week, which made the draft really interesting. Because a lot of times you can take one guy. Like this year, I'm not I'm not pulling the curtain back on this one. You take a guy like a Bobby Witt, he can take care of all 5 categories at one time. There's not that many of those, but if you're playing 8 categories, you're not going to have one guy that can take care of you in all those categories, just like in pitching. The ones that were screwing me up, because I've done probably 10 or 15 free drafts. The part that just completely has screwed me up is the difference between ESPN and Yahoo with our boy Skeens. ESPN has got Skeens, depending on what day it is, between 6 and 8. Yahoo's got him about 18, 19, 20, depending on what day it is. So if you're playing a 10-team draft, you're going either mid-first round with ESPN or late first, early second. I'm sorry, late second, early third in Yahoo. And it's like, okay. I think the Yahoo one is more accurate.
Okay.
I could definitely give you at least 10 guys that I would pick ahead of Skeens. But yeah, I mean, to have him 6 or 7, I mean, you're putting him ahead of a lot of guys that are going to rack up a crap load of points, and I don't think that's really good.
The question is, do you want to be a homer and pick them?
If I can get him late 2, early 3, yes. If it's in the first round, no. in those ESPN leagues that I've done, I have 0 shares of Paul Skeens. 0. And I have drafted everywhere from 1st to 10th. Doesn't
Well,
matter. I'm
I'm
not
not saying
taking
I'm
him
going
that
to try
high.
and keep you there, Rich, but I thought this was a keeper league, and I had him last year, and now I'm kind of irritated.
Well, might be able to get him back.
Well, I had him as a free agent,
Well,
and then I got him. He would have been like my 18th round pick.
ooh.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing I'm looking at. You know, when we're putting this together, there are a lot of really good pitchers at the top of the draft, but there's a lot of really good pitchers in the middle of the draft too. Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on the Schwellenbergs, the Logan Webbs, the guys like that that I think are going to put up good numbers. Blake Snell, even George
That
Kirby.
guy.
George Kirby, you get him in the middle. You can get Castillo in the middle from Seattle. Gilbert is one of those guys that's up in that top tier with a Skeens or a Scooble or a Wheeler.
He's kind of forgotten about though, because he's on the West Coast. I
He
hate to
is.
say it.
He
I
is.
hate to say it. And them West Coast
But you,
kids are always, they're always forgotten for some reason in baseball.
yeah, especially the Northwest part, like San Francisco, Oakland, Seattle. The guys
There's
in
no
LA and
Oakland
San
anymore,
Diego,
Rich.
everybody knows.
I'm being
I
a Karen on you.
understand.
I'm being a Karen on you. They're just called the A's,
I
Rich,
understand.
because they don't really know where they want to play.
I know. I know. But, San Francisco, the A's, and Seattle, yeah, you're right. Everybody knows who the Dodgers and the Padres are, and the Angels. But, yeah, I mean, when you look, there's probably 10 really stud pitchers going in the first, like, 4 rounds. I think Wheeler is pissed that he didn't win the Cy last year, and he's going to come out blazing. You got 2 guys on that team, Nola and Wheeler, that I think are going to come out just tearing the world up. Scooble, Skeens, of course. Yeah, Logan Gilbert in Seattle. Would not be surprised if I've seen Jacob. I did one draft. Jacob deGrom went in the 4th round. If the guy is healthy, he's the best pitcher in baseball. I don't care who you put out there.
When he's
The
healthy.
problem, that's the thing. Is he healthy? I picked him up in one draft in the 7th round. I'll take a shooter at you in the 7th round. I'm not going to take you in the 4th round. But there's going to be a lot of really fun ways for people to draft this year. The first round by itself is wild. Because you have a lot, your first 2 are pretty obvious. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Your first 2 are pretty obvious. Ohtani and Witt. And then it kind of just goes from there. And you've got a lot of guys in there that is it going to work? Is it not going to work? How are these guys going to end up playing? That's a chance you take, just like you do in football. But when you've got guys like Soto and Judge and Lindor, okay, how again, how is it going to play out? I'm going to be really interested
I
to see how this
traded
plays.
I traded Lindor for Cruz. I bet you want to hear how homer I am. And then
Mm.
Cruz breaks his leg on the next day.
Oh my gosh.
If you want to hear how homer
Goodness.
that.
I mean, realistically, your first round, you got Otani, Soto, Judge, Ramirez, Witt, Mookie Betts. I cannot see taking Kyle Tucker in the first round. I'd take Alvarez before him. Scooble is arguably a first round guy. Vladdy, that's all. I'm saying 10 team. Everything I'm talking about is based on 10
What do we
teams.
have? 8 or 10? I forget.
We have 10, but we're waiting on 2 to confirm their email or confirm the request or whatever. I think one of them did it earlier today.
Okay.
But, and I was talking about those pitchers, and I knew I was forgetting a couple of them. How about like the Garrett Coles of the world, the Dylan Cease, or the Corbin Burns,
It's so
or
funny. Like you don't even think of Garrett Cole anymore. Is it gotten that bad? And he's still pretty good.
well, yeah,
Obviously,
he's
we're not. You know, he's not here, but still.
right, and he's still. I mean, he's the ace of that rotation, and you know what you're going to get from Garrett Cole. I think that's probably where the line gets drawn. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get about 200 strikeouts. You're going to get about 15 wins, and you're going to get about 200 innings, give or take. So you know what you're getting. A guy like Chris Sale, who, let's be honest, was flipping lights. He was Red Sox Chris Sale last year. Now, okay, let's do it 2 years in a row. Let's see you stay
Can't be
healthy
done.
2 years in a row. If he's healthy, the guy is Randy Johnson if he stays healthy. But if he's banged up, you look at ESPN, and if I remember right, they've got Chris Sale number 31. Wouldn't have him that. I don't know that I would have him that high. They've got 3 relief pitchers in the top 40. Clase, Devin Williams, and Josh Hader, all in the top 40.
Well, if you're going to get
So,
40, 44 saves, maybe even 50, them guys are going to be up there. They get points.
but we all saw last year, Hader is human. Devin Williams is on a new team in a new league with no beard. And realistically, as much as I love the guy, and I mean, I am probably his biggest fan, Clase, there's that possibility of the injury bug. If that injury bug reaches up and bites him again, now I've got a couple of guys that I've been going after later, and I'm not saying who they are because of strategic purposes on this particular deal, but you can get your relief pitchers late. The big thing, yeah, Cade Smith is as good as Clase.
We'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. We'll see. I mean, Clase, if nothing else, you have history. Man, that would be tough. But it could be. It very well could be. But you've got a couple positions out there that have almost no depth to them at all. I mean, you get your top 2 or 3 of them, and then it goes rocketing downhill from there. Second base is one of them. You got Marte, Simeon, Arias, Altuve. And then there it goes. I mean, your next best guys are like Ozzy Albies, Nico Horner, guys like that. Yeah. So if you're second base, okay. First base is another one. And you got Vladdy, you got
Well, that's the
Freeman,
thing
you got
about our league, Rich. I like how you can have middle infielders, so you could draft all shortstops if you wanted to, and just put them in the middle,
right,
or you
right.
could draft all first baseman, all third baseman, um, and let it go from there. I kind of like that format. It gives options.
It does. It kind of it has pluses and minuses. I like having to field a real baseball team. I like having to put first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, third baseman, catcher, three outfielders, die. Now, if you're gonna have more than three outfielders, I get that. Utility guys, that kind of thing. But you're right. You can stockpile. If you want to stockpile first baseman and go in and take Vladdy and Freeman with your first two picks, okay, great. But once you get past Vladdy and Freeman and Harper and Matt Olson and Alonso, it's really hit and miss from there. Is Josh Naylor going to hit a bunch of bombs again in Arizona? Is Pasquantino going to do for Kansas City better than what he did last year and stay healthy? What's Bellinger going to do in New York? Is Spencer Steer going to be healthy? Is Christian Walker going to be able to hit better into the Crawford boxes in Houston? We don't know. First base is kind of one of those wide open areas once you get past the first five guys. And honestly, catcher's another one. To me, you've got William Contreras, Adley Rushman, Will Smith, and then everybody else. Is Cal Raleigh going to hit 30 home runs again this year? Probably not.
I'm just curious because you put Bart Batten fourth in our lineup. Is
Mm-hmm.
he worth of a shot early, or I know we can get him way late because people forget about him, but I'm just curious.
Right.
Like, what are your thoughts on like a Bart because he bats fourth?
I'm not touching a catcher until at least the 10th round.
So you're waiting.
There's
I mean,
too many catchers out there that you can get that can put good numbers up. You're not winning or losing your fantasy team on your catcher. A
maybe
couple of
Buster
years ago,
Posey
I had
days.
maybe 2023. I had Jonah Heim. In fact,
You
I had
love him.
Jonah Heim and Sean Murphy.
Who
So
both
that
had
made
breakout kind of years.
exactly. I got lucky. I had Stephen Vogt 2021 when he went absolutely berserko. Um, okay, that happens. Is Sal Perez going to hit 30 home runs again this year? Maybe, maybe not. Now, he's not going to catch as much. He's going to DH a lot. He's going to catch like every fourth day. I'm
Hold on,
sorry.
while you were on
Uh,
Kansas City, is Mike
yeah,
Moustakas going to be a Hall of Famer?
no,
But
no.
he'll be in the Ring of Honor for the Kansas City Royals, right?
I think he's got a better shot well, he might actually end up in two Rings of Honor, to be honest, because he might end up in Cincinnati's too.
True, true.
But yeah, I could see that. But Hall of Fame? Oh, no, 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 no. He's not even the Hall of Very Good.
So I read this topic today, Rich, and I know you're gonna love it. They were talking about what hat Parker's gonna be wearing in the Hall of Fame. What do you
He
think
already
they should
said
go?
he's.
Do you think they should go with the stars or the P? The stars and the
Oh,
N and the stripes, like stars go behind you, or do you think they should just go with the P? I think they're leaving it up the. I think they're leaving it up the park side to
so you're
figure
talking
out what
about
they
go
want
with
to
the
do.
painter's hat or go with the other?
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to see the 1979
Well,
hats. I think
I
that'd be
would
cool.
say the painter's hat because they broke it out in 78. Um, I would do the painter's hat. That's just me. Um, Parker being Parker, he'll probably go off the beaten path and want to do, something weird, the gold hat, or something like that. But yeah, I would do the painter's hat, man. Those Stargell stars on there and that kind of thing.
That's what I would do. That's what I would
Yeah,
do.
I mean,
I figured I would bring
you
that
know
question
where
up to you.
you know where I stand on that. He should, and the crazy part is they just changed the rules about the Veterans Committee and all that, and he wouldn't be going in if the Veterans Committee would have made this thing last year. If they would have changed the rules last year, Parker doesn't go in. I don't think Dave Parker's and all of our Pittsburgh brethren, all the Pirate Nation that's listening and all that. I'm sorry. Dave Parker is not a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. He was very good for about 4 or 5 years. He's not a Hall of Fame player. Soapbox moved.
Right.
In fact, to be perfectly honest with you, since 79, how many realistic Hall of Famers have the Pirates had? Obviously, Stargell. Obviously, our home run king. Outside of those two guys, who have the Pirates really had that's a legit, no questions asked Hall of Famer? I know. I'm thinking the same thing. When it's all
I mean,
done,
obviously
Garrett Cole,
we just had Jim Leland.
well, Leland, yes. When it's all said and done, Garrett Cole may end up being a Hall of Famer.
I don't think he'll go in as a Pirate though.
No, he would go in as a Yankee, but he was with the Pirates for that sustained period of time.
He might go in as an Astro because that's where he won the World Series.
Nah. He was a Yankees fan as a kid and all that kind of stuff. By the way, you're on mute. Yeah, I brought up Bonds just simply because to me, Bonds had two careers, two Hall of Fame careers. Okay. When he was in Pittsburgh, the man won 3 MVP awards. When he went to San Francisco, he won 4. If he just retired as soon as he got traded to San Francisco and he said, I'm not going there, I quit, he's probably a Hall of Famer just off of that. But then he goes ahead and does all the crap that he did, all the swarminess, all the steroids, all the other stuff, and that takes him out. I'm sorry, that takes him out. Do I think Bonds should go into the Hall of Fame? No. I don't think Clemens should be in there. I don't think Bonds should be in there. And I don't think Pete Rose should be in there either. Do I consider Bonds a Pirate, though?
I think Pete Rose should be in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Dude, you bet on baseball.
I know.
You bet on your own
bet
team.
On the manager. There should be 2 different categories.
No.
It's going to be the debate. He's going to get in, obviously.
I hope not.
He's going to get in.
I hope not. Well, I hope not for 2 reasons. A, if they waited this long, he should never go in since he's dead. Because if people are going to use that logic for voting him in, that's wrong.
But he did.
We're going to wait till he dies and then let him in. No,
he did his time. He did his time.
That's immoral. No, he didn't. Lifetime ban. Done.
Right, his life's over.
Still should not be. No. Sorry. I don't think Shoeless Joe should be in either, by the way, guys. There's a lot of guys in the Baseball Hall of Fame that I think shouldn't be in there for whatever reason. I'm still trying to figure out how the hell Harold Baines is in there. My biggest gripe with the Hall of Fame. It used to be Fred McGriff until he got in, to how he was not in there. I'm still trying to figure out how in the world Dale Murphy is not in the Hall of Fame and how Andrew Jones is not in the Hall of Fame. Andrew Jones is arguably the greatest defensive center fielder of all time. Is third on the list of Gold Gloves and is one of only 4 players in Major League history to hit 400 home runs and have 10 Gold Gloves. And he's not in the freaking Hall of Fame.
I can't
But
control
Scott
that.
Rowland is, huh?
I can't control that.
But Scott Rowland is, but Harold Baines is. And I got news for you, folks. And this is really going to get some people fired up. You ready for this one, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
I got news for you, folks. If he didn't play for the New York Yankees, Derek Jeter wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. He was an average at best shortstop that just happened to play long enough to get the 3,000 hits. Sorry. If he didn't play for the New York Yankees, he would not be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the worst fielding defensive shortstops of all time. Yes, Jeter.
I hear you. I hear you. I don't know what to say. Jeter was just one of those guys you knew was going to make it, so you just shut up about it.
He was one of those guys that he wore the Yankee pinstripes. He made that one play against Oakland in the playoffs, and they made him the captain and all this other craziness. But if you look at his numbers, he is one of the worst fielding shortstops of all time. And he played enough years to get himself up to 3,000 hits, which you know as well as I do is just like 500 home runs, a guaranteed lock to the Hall of Fame.
Well, apparently 10,000 yards is not a guarantee into the Football Hall of Fame.
And it shouldn't be.
And two Super Bowls and a MVP at the Super Bowl. Not good enough.
Well, if you're talking about Hines Ward.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, Hines Ward should be in the Hall of Fame.
And I still think I still think they're waiting for Ben, and I think they're going to let the Steelers run Canton that year.
Yeah, maybe so, but I mean, I
hope
also
they
think
do.
that
I hope they do because I hate being there when other teams are there. It's annoying.
By the way,
it is because then you have to worry about them coming up and starting shit, and it's annoying. Like, granted, it wasn't bad with Cowher and Jimmy Johnson and Troy Polamalu. It wasn't bad. But that was one of the quickest weekends I think the Canton never had to do in their life. That they had because they had the 20 and 2021 going in back-to-back days.
Right, and they had to rush it. Right.
So I mean everything was rushed, and I still think Adrian James' speech was probably the best speech for the Hall of Fame I've ever heard in my life.
I don't even remember it, but I'll take your word for it.
He said, I've never been in jail, and the only number I have is this number right here on my jacket. And it was just a good speech. And we had 3 Steelers that year. I think Artie Shell went in, Polamalu, and Cowher.
I think so. By the way, going back to Jeter, 20 years, 14 of them he had double-digit errors.
What were his playoff numbers, like Rav's saying?
Defensively? Okay, but wait a minute.
Great playoff numbers, Rich. Great playoff numbers. That's what I'm reading.
Do you play all season or do you play the playoffs? Because if that's the case, Scott Brosius goes in the Hall of Fame. If that's the case, Francisco Cabrera should be in the Hall of Fame. Or God forbid, Sid Bream should be in the. Sid Bream hit 400 in the playoffs. And if you also use that same logic, Greg Maddux shouldn't go in because he had absolute trash playoff numbers. For whatever reason, Greg Maddux could not win in the playoffs. That's what people use as the logic to put Curt Schilling in, too, his playoff numbers. What about the 162 games to get you there? If you're average at best until you get to the playoffs and then perform great, good for you. Doesn't make you a Hall of Fame player. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. You've got to be that way across the board because you have a ton of guys who were extremely, I mean, let's be honest, Hall of Fame players that never saw the playoffs. Mike Trout, the most current one. He's seen the playoffs one time.
He doesn't went off a bad team.
Right. I mean, Ernie Banks never was in the playoffs.
Mr. Baseball.
You know, it's one of those situations. Jeter would be Hall of Very Good, yes, not Hall of Fame. He was never a top 5 take the logo off the jersey. He was never, for a 5-year or longer period, a top 5 shortstop in baseball. Never. I'm sorry. I mean, and I'm looking at his numbers. And you know, okay, he was World Series MVP. Okay, that's fine. You know, guys trip into those.
But there's that playoff. There's that playoff that Rob was just talking about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he won Rookie of the Year. Okay, he was an All-Star. Okay. But how many times again is he voted in because he has that NY on his shirt? Never finished higher than, well, I'm sorry. He finished second once, third twice for MVP. Won 3 Gold Gloves. I'm sorry, 4. 4 Gold Gloves in his career. That's not Hall of Fame worthy. I'm sorry. I mean, when you look at I'm double checking to make sure. The shortstops, and I mean, let's be honest. Let's look at the list, okay? These shortstops that have won the most Gold Gloves: Ozzie Smith, 13 of them, Hall of Famer. Omar Vizquel, Louis Aparicio, who's in the Hall of Fame. Mark Belanger, Derek Jeter, Dave Concepcion, Andrelton Simmons. Notice anything about all but 2 of those guys? And by the way, Ozzie won 13 of them. None of them are in the Hall of Fame. That's why I say if Jeter played for the Kansas City Royals, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Why is Omar Vizquel not in the Hall of Fame?
I have no idea. To be perfectly honest with you, he's another one I can't figure out why he's not in. Because he got
because he got in all that shit.
I don't know. He has more hits.
But he got in all that legal shit, and I think that really put a dent in his picture. I hate to say it, but I mean that's what I think happened.
Maybe so. But he's got 2,700 hits.
Because he finally got back into the Cleveland. He finally got back around to Cleveland, and they finally adapted to him again.
Yeah. But I mean, he's got 11 Gold Gloves, 2,700 hits. It's Hall of Fame.
I mean, Cabrera. What was that? Who was that second baseman? Was it Cabrera, the second baseman? Cabrera and Vizquel?
No, Alomar. Roberto Alomar.
Alomar and Cabrera. I thought that tandem of throwing double plays was pretty top notch back in the 90s.
Alomar Vizquel was a tremendous. Oh yeah. That's probably one of the better combos. Wow. And 50 in a 50-year stretch, that's one of the best Keystone combinations.
Freddie Sanchez and Jack Wilson.
Oh my God. I got an even better one for you. How about Johnny Ray and Al Padrique?
How about Chico and Bell?
Yeah. J Bell could play.
Then you got Raphael Belliard and the Giles brother.
Oh, Marcus Giles.
Yeah, they turned some double plays too. I don't know who
They
turned the
did.
most. I don't know if there's a way to look that up or not.
Yeah, but the one that carries the boat for the Pirates though is Rennie Stennett and Frank Tavares.
Holy crap, you're going way back.
That's 79.
Right, Rich. That was my first World Series, and I was about 8 months old.
I was born in 71, so that was the first one I got to watch. But yeah,
So
I mean,
you've been around
first
for
base,
all of them.
we all know who the first baseman was. But no, then you had guys like Madlock and over at third, and outfield you ran Parker in right, Moreno in center, Billy Robinson in left, Ed Ott behind the plate, Steve Nicosia backing him up. And then the rotation was just superb. Burb Blyleven, John Candelaria, Jim Rooker, Jim Bibby, Jerry Royce, and of course Teak closing it out. I mean,
Speaking of Teak, I saw we just signed a side armor for the 8th inning. Was it named
there's a
Justin
couple of them in
Lawrence?
the majors.
Justin
Yeah,
Lawrence, who just signed,
Justin Lawrence.
who was a closer for 3 to 4 years. They're adding a little bit of depth. I did see that. That was nice.
Yeah, there's two or three submarine / sidearm guys in the league. Yeah, I mean Lawrence and Holderman should be a good combination for the 8th inning. The Pirates pitching is shaping up to be really good. Even with Oviedo going on the 60-day DL, the good thing is it's his lat. So it's not the Tommy John repair, it's not his shoulder, it's not his elbow, it's his lat. So they are saying that with it happening now, he could be back early May, mid-May. But this is also 2 months that he's not going to be working on getting that arm back in shape. So, when are we going to see Oviedo back? I would say probably 1st of June. But that's why you have that depth. Your boy Bubba, Falter, Haney, guys that can fill that 4 and 5 hole. We
Bubba's going to
know
be a
who the first
4.
three.
Bubba's
Huh?
going to be a 4 or 5.
Well, but I'm just saying we know who the first 3 are. It's a matter of filling 4 and 5. And it's good that you have some depth. Unfortunately, Oviedo's cooked at the moment. So,
Right?
but hitting wise, that's one thing I was looking at earlier today. Pirates, by the way, won today 7-6. Our
It's
boy
so hard.
Sawinski hitting
It's
375.
it's so hard to get in their spring training. I
Yeah, but
know,
you would.
I know it's something to talk about, but it's just really hard for me to
No,
get
it's
into
not.
spring training.
But it's not just something to talk about, man. It really shows you a lot of these young guys what they look like in real. And it's not a matter. I mean, this is a sport that you fail 7 out of 10 times. So you can't take that into consideration when they're hitting. What you got to look at is what kind of at bats do they have? How does it affect them in the field? Things of that nature. I mean, Nick Gonzalez is hitting a buck 33 right now. We all know Nick Gonzalez is not going to hit a $133 in the regular season.
Right, and
But
we
he
both
is
know
right now.
Jackson's and we both know Swinsky's not going to hit 373 during the regular season either.
Well, we also know Henry Davis isn't going to hit 313 either. But
we want him
he's
to.
having good at bat. Well, we want him to, sure, but he's having good at bats. And if he could hit 250, I'm not asking for Rod Carew numbers. I'm not asking for guys to hit 315, 320. Would it be nice to have the Penguins or the Pirates have a couple of guys like that? Of course. And they could. But, would I settle for a team that every guy 1 through 9 was hitting between 250 and 280? I'd settle for that all day. You give me all 9 of my guys hitting that kind of average, I'll sign up and we'll win a whole lot of games.
Right.
It's when you've got guys hitting a $175. That should be a major league rule, by the way. If you're not hitting your own weight, you're sent down.
Rich, Josh wants us to get off topic. Do you think we should trade Crosby and give him a chance to win another cup? His number's already going up in the rafters.
I think I leave it up to Crosby, and he said no. They had a deal in place to send him. They had a deal in place to send him to Toronto last year, and he said no. He didn't want to leave Pittsburgh.
He wanted to go to Colorado, I thought. He wanted to play with his best friend McKinnon, right?
Well, but isn't he? Yeah, but isn't he like from Toronto or around there?
Saskatchewan.
I don't had a deal in place.
I don't know. I don't know Canada, so I don't know it very well at all.
Yeah, they had a deal to send him home, and I know they were talking to Colorado last year, but Sidney said you're wasting your time. He didn't want to go anywhere. He wants to stay in Pittsburgh. By hook or by crook, he wants to stay in Pittsburgh.
I get it, but I don't know. If they shipped him, I'd be sad, I'd be disappointed, but at the same time, hopefully he gets another name on that cup.
Well, but here would be my question. At this exact minute, what are you going to get back for him? Exactly. You're not going to get a top of the line premier player.
Would you take 2 firsts and 2 seconds in this year and next year? Or next year and the year after?
2 firsts and 2 seconds?
Well, yeah, I'm just throwing some shit out there. I know that. So,
yeah, I would, especially if it came from, a subpar team that I knew it was going to be top 10 picks. Sure.
But it's not. It'd be Colorado. It would be we'd have our shitty pick, and then we'd have Colorado's pick, which is probably going to be somewhere in the later half of the 20s.
Well, but you can always package those and move up. But I just don't know. It still all comes down to Sid. If Sidney doesn't want to go, it's a moot point, and he don't want to go. I get it.
I was just coming up with scenarios.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And
I guess that trade did happen. I guess that Michael Bunting trade did happen.
Yeah, it went down, and okay, I'm not gonna go woohoo. I'm not gonna get super excited. I'm not gonna pop a bottle of champagne about it. Okay, you dump Bunting in a 4th. You get a couple of younger guys. I think that what the Penguins are doing right now is trying to get rid of bad contracts and get young guys in.
Well, Luke Schenn's definitely a young guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's what, like 20? 20, 21, something like that?
I thought he was 21, right around there. I don't know
But
anything
yeah, I
about.
mean,
I don't know anything about Novak though.
the Penguins are going to be, and you and I have talked about this before. The Penguins are going to be a project for the next couple of years. Just simply, he's 27. Um, but they're going to be a project. They're not going to be contending for a championship at least for the next, I think, 3 years. This year and the next two. Novak this season has played 52 games, has 13 goals, 9 assists.
How many penalty minutes?
Left-handed shooter.
Defense.
Hold on. Penalty minutes. Penalty minutes. He has 4.
Okay.
What was the other one you said?
I don't know anything about the guy, so that's why I didn't know if he was a goalie. I didn't know if he was defense, offense. Sounds
Oh
like a
no, he's a
fourth.
center.
Sounds
He's a
like a
center.
fourth line guy.
Probably.
And he might even get sent down.
4-year career, 117 points in 4 years. He's a -7. He's only played 49 games. Or I'm sorry, scratch that. He's played 201 games, scored 49 goals in 201 games over 3 seasons. So,
What about Luke? Is that one of the Shen brothers, or is that a son, or
I think. No, this is the old one. This is the 35-year-old.
that's who we got?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the defenseman. So, 35-year-old defenseman. Nothing to really write home about. He does have a relatively consistent presence as far as number of games he plays and that kind of stuff. In the last 5 years, he's played at least 66 games every season. But he's a -46 for his career. 44 goals, 159 assists. He's been in the league since 08. So, like I say, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and shoot off fireworks and pop a bottle of champagne for this deal. I would be surprised if Shen is on the roster next year, to be honest. Novak might be heading to the minors. So
What was Bunning getting paid? Because this guy's only making 800,000 a year, which doesn't seem right.
4.5. 4.5 per season. That's set to expire at the end of next year. He signed a 3-year deal for 13.5, 4.5 mil per season for 3 years.
I don't know. We'll find out. Like we said, I don't know how you call this rebuilding, but whatever.
It's easy. You're dumping a contract. You're dumping a $4.5 million deal to pick up a couple of guys that I'm sure that Nashville is eating the contracts.
Luke Shen's
One
not getting
guy's
paid
probably on a
anything.
minor league deal.
Luke Shen's
Huh?
not getting paid anything, is he?
I have no idea.
I just thought I saw 8,800 grand a year. but that was in 2020.
Okay.
It had nothing updated. So I don't know anything about it, but that's just what I read. So I was assuming that that was the deal.
His 24-25 cap hit is $2.75 million. And he has one more year on his deal. But I'm willing to bet you, as part of this deal, Nashville has to eat that money. I would bet you almost anything. That deal was a salary dump. Get rid of Bunting and that $4.5 million. Get that off the cap. Bring in a guy that one's going to go to the minors, the other one isn't going to be on the roster next year, and make Nashville eat all the cash, and Pittsburgh saves $4.5 million a year for the next 2 years. I will guarantee that's what this was.
Yeah. Did you type that, Rich?
I did.
He's calling that. He's calling the bill. Calling the bill. All right. I guess we can call it quits, Rich. We really didn't talk any Pirates barely, but maybe we'll leave that for next week. You know, another week of spring training. Rosters will be trimmed down a little bit. You know, we'll have a lot more to go on instead of watching these guys go nuts. I know. I like the way Connor's looking down there right now. I like him. He's looking like he actually might make the team.
Billy
like
Cook's
said,
looking pretty good.
This Justin. Now Nashville. Now the Nationals did just send down. What was his name? Pretty good outfielder, and Stoots or something. I don't remember his name, but everyone's saying we should try and get him in before he hits, on the waivers. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry.
I'm just looking to see on the transaction wire, but yeah, I mean, I like what's going on next week. Of course, we'll not only have that, but we'll have the first day of MLB or of NFL free agency. So we'll have that to talk about too. See what the Pirates do right out of the chute. Washington.
CJ Abrams just got sent down too. He missed curfew.
CJ Abrams?
That was last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say Abrams is going to be their starting shortstop. Well, I'm on the Nationals page.
Is it Sam Peterson, maybe?
A second. Latest transactions.
I think it was this Sam Peterson guy.
Yesterday,
or Stone Garrett.
Yeah. Stone well, yesterday. Because yesterday they sent down
Stone Garrett yesterday.
Five pitchers and 2 catchers yesterday. The Nationals did.
Right. All right. So next week, Rich, we will really break down these Pirates. If we want to, we can make our list of starting positions, starting bench players, the 40.
Sure.
And we'll go from there. Maybe even make our first lineups of the year, or do we want to save that for a later date? Or we can talk about it.
No, I mean we've realistically got like 7 weeks till, or I'm sorry, 3 weeks till the start of the season. So we've got 2 more shows. I mean, I'm not really counting this Japan series because it doesn't affect the Pirates. So we've really got
Chicago and LA.
Chicago and the Dodgers. So we've got 3 more shows.
Do you like this opening? Do you like this opening in LA?
Stupid. I think it's opening in Japan.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one feeling stupid about it.
No, I think it's stupid. But yeah, I mean, we got 3 more shows. So yeah, maybe next week we look at, like you were saying, the 40 and that. Maybe have our projected opening day rosters for that show on the 26th. And of course get into fantasy and all that kind of stuff. As we get closer. There's a lot for us to be talking about. Pirates and Steelers. Like I say, particularly next week with the Steelers free agency, starting the day of our show on Wednesday. Starts at 3:00 Central, 4 Eastern.
Well, we know T. Higgins will not be going anywhere, it looks like. And
No, but man, I would love to see. I realize he's recovering from that dislocated ankle, but boy, I'd love to see Chris Godwin in a Steelers uniform. Either him or Darius Slayton, one or the other.
And I'm sure that will be a heavy topic because it looks like the Steelers have narrowed it down to Justin Fields at the re-signing.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, anybody out there that has Jackson Dart going number 3 overall, you've lost your damn mind. He's not that good.
Neither are any of these quarterbacks, but team need a quarterback.
He's good enough to go 20. He's good enough to go 21 overall, is what it is.
Why would he go 21?
22, I'm sorry. To us.
I thought we picked 18th. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know why the number 8.
I think I was gonna say I gotta throw the flag on that one.
I don't know why.
Steelers are, unless I've just been in a little different world. 18 is Seattle. 21 is Pittsburgh. That's what I thought.
I don't know why.
You had me questioning 21 or 22.
But yeah, I had me questioning myself. So
22 is the Chargers. Who, by the way, you got Tyler Lockett out there, which I don't necessarily want to see go to the Steelers. But DK Metcalf wants a trade. Could you imagine if you put him in Los Angeles with the Chargers to pair up with Ladd McConkey? That would be scary.
Be interesting.
And then Quentin Johnson's your 3.
He's moving up.
No, he's not going to move up ahead of Ladd McConkey. So, and I don't think he'd move ahead of DK Metcalf. So, I don't know. But that would definitely give Justin Herbert a whole different type of receiving core. So, but anyways, man.
Right. All right. So we got our goal set. Are you going to be breaking in for Tuesday night or no?
I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
I'm going to do my best. Go
ahead. Let's close it out.
No, I was just gonna say what's basically happened is my wife and I both have started working out earlier in the mornings, getting up earlier. So that means that bedtime is even earlier. So that's why, and doing the couple of shows and that kind of deal, it's gonna be kind of iffy. So that all to say, Tuesday I'm gonna do my best. Don't know how long I'll be able to be on there, but I will do my dangdest. Monday night, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. 2 tire change. Recapping all the NASCAR events from this weekend coming up in Phoenix, and then previewing
any NASCAR this weekend, Rich.
Shame on you, man.
I don't know what I don't know. Sunday was a weird day for me.
Well, this week, ARCA on Friday, Xfinity on Saturday, Cup on Sunday. It's fun. Phoenix is short track, but it's a flat track. So it has the short track excitement, but doesn't have the banking, so you don't have as much passability that kind of thing. So it's, not one of the more exciting tracks, but it gets the job done.
Okay. All right. I don't know if Josh will be joining you at some point next Monday or not. I'm not sure. But
No problem. No
but
problem at
all
all.
right.
Working on a couple of driver interviews for the next couple of weeks. So
Oh, I might have found someone that might come on for your show on Monday. So just I'll tell you if I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated. I've been trying to get back into it, trying to look out for everyone.
so sounds like a plan.
I don't know if this girl worked for. I don't know who. I know she was in the pits. She was reporting for someone in the pits.
Let's see. That'd be either Jamie Little, Wendy Venturini. Oh shoot, what is the gal's name?
This
That's
is her first
doing.
year.
Yeah. Oh shoot, I can't think. I know who you're talking about though. That'd be a good interview. She's really got a good personality, so I'm willing to bet you she'd be a great interview.
So I got her to follow me back. So that was the first key.
Very good. Very good.
So we'll work from there,
But
Rich. Anyway, Rich, you still have your old Twitter name on there. I don't know if you changed it or not, but
I do, and I got to change it. I made it simple for everybody. Twitter X, whatever it is this week. It is Big Rich 8371 on Twitter. Just switched it over. Big Rich 8371. Facebook, hit me up at my name, Rich Richardson. And like I say, of course, Monday, 7 Central, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, right here on Driving to the Top. Whether it's the YouTube or my Twitter or Facebook or wherever you can catch it. Two Tire Change. And then Wednesday, Adam and I do this thing where we never know where we're going to end up.
no, we meant to talk Pirates. We meant to talk Steelers, but we talked fantasy baseball.
We did.
Oh man. Anyway, you can get me at Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube, also on Twitter, the same thing. It's sports talking it on the Twitter. And yeah, message me. I'll message you back if you want to come on the show and gibber with us. We're open. And I thank everyone for tuning in tonight. And everybody have a good evening. What is my dog doing?